Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Underdog Views and I watched the movie Exit 8. Yes. Yeah, they made a movie about this game. And it's as good as the movie, as the game is. I've seen Markiplier play the game. I might have seen Jacksepticeye play the game. I think the boys, played the game. Well, I think Eddie VR, no, but then Special Ed played it. I think he played it. He plays horror games, so he probably watched it, played it. Maybe Juicy played this game, because of anomalies. Who knows? But I think the boys played it. I definitely see Markiplier play it. But yeah, this was some movie. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch the movie. It was well made. Japanese movie, so you need some subtitles. But it's a good movie. It's definitely a good movie. And that guy, he freaked me out, but because you have in the game, then he stops you and then he's looking at you, And this one, he just did that too, but he was standing right behind the main character, with a smile on his face. That freaked me out when we see him. So, oh shit, And the worst part is, I have a coworker that kind of smiles like him. But that's because of I'm not gonna say it, but that's because of medical reasons. So yeah. But still, it kind of makes the same face as this dude. Yeah. Let's just start with this movie, shall we? We have a kind of an up close show of a phone around here, maybe. Then slowly zoom out. Well, we see somebody, scroll with the phone, and zoom out, and then we start to hear a baby cry in the background, and we see him now with his left hand, with his iPod, and he looks up, looks to the left, and we see that the metro is packed. Apparently it's rush hour. And not the rush hour, the movie with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Quick interlude. I've seen Rush Hour 1, I've seen Rush Hour 3, and that's because on Netflix, there was only Rush Hour 1 and Rush Hour 3. And you ask, where's Rush Hour 2? Well, that was not on there. Why the fuck do you have Rush Hour 1 and Rush Hour 3 on your streaming channel, servers, whatever? It would be more logic to have part 2 and part 3, or part 1 and part 2. Not 1 and 3. The fuck, dude? So, I watched part 1 and I watched part 3. I thought, well, okay, maybe, I can maybe watch part 3. Don't do that. Because they're saying something, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah, that happened in part 2. So, it's important that you watch 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 before you watch part 3, But, come on, really? 1 and 3 on your streaming servers? Really? So, I don't use Netflix, and I I'm not gonna go into there, but I don't use Netflix, and I'm glad because it's just shit, just utter shit. Anyway, back to the movie. So packed metro and baby crying. Not long after that, the man that's standing basically in front of the mother, because the mother's holding the baby and she's rocking back and forth. He starts to scream for, shut up! We all blah blah blah. Okay, you're the mother. Shut the baby up. Yeah, dude, you're yelling at the mother really helps the baby to shut up. Because if you keep being that fucking loud, the baby's not gonna shut up. So you're now part of the problem why the baby is crying. So, great job. But if you want to know what's happening next, watch the movie yourself. So this was all in POV, and we stayed in POV until the 8 minute and 20 second mark, which was actually pretty nice, to walk through the set, in POV shot, it looked pretty nice. The guy, our main guy, what was his name? He doesn't have a name. Well, it's an interesting cast, We have Last Man, Walking Man, The Boy, High School Student, Last Man's Partner, Screaming Man on Train. Oh, that's him, Mother on Train. That's her. Child, that's the baby probably that's crying. Man on Train and Passerby. Good names. Well, we're just going by his first name, Kasunari. Kasunari had he had a streak, of 5 good ways, You still had 3 to go. And then, I think in number 5, he got the phone call. When he was going for, between number 5 and number 6, he got the phone call. And that was his partner, Nana. And that's her first name, Nana Komatsu. So, Nana called him. And he was because she was in the hospital. Because, it's his ex. And she is pregnant. And he was, she called him and said, I'm pregnant. Okay, I'm on my way, because she didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to decide. And she laid also the decision at him. Okay, what do you want? Probably about the baby. Do you want to have the baby or don't you want to have the baby? I think he wants to have the baby, at the end. But he had a nice streak of 5, and then he got the phone call, which, that was pretty suspicious actually, that you get a phone call suddenly, and that was probably the anomaly, because he started when he was continuing or going back. I don't know which one he did. I can't remember. He was back at 0. Yep. Ooh, this sounds interesting. Sorry, I see a movie here that sounds pretty interesting, so we're gonna watch this one on Tuesday. It's called Devil. But back to this movie. Yeah, that was probably the anomaly. He then found a boy, the boy, called Naru. And he was asked for questions for, are you lost? No, at first, he thought, oh, anomaly. So he turned around and went back. And I thought, oh, because he had one, then it became back at 0. So, and then the boy was standing there again. So he was not an anomaly. He was just also a person that was a contestant, of that trap. And so he was asking, okay, are you lost? Blah 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 blah, And are you with somebody? So the boy went further, and if you play the game, he always comes around the corner and starts walking and passes you. That guy that creeped me the fuck out. The walking man. We call him Yamato because that's his first name. As the actor. So Yamato came around the corner, and Naru, starts to point at Yamato. And Kasunari says, well, he is not real anymore, or he's not human anymore, something like that. And we then start to follow Yamato. We got his backstory, and he was the first. He was first with Naru. Both lost, and they had a streak of 5 or something, and they were I think they had a streak of 5, and then they went into somewhere, into their own hallway, and he saw nothing, and he got a high school student walking by, Kotone, a woman, and the boy, was standing still at one of the doors, because there were 3 doors, and he was still standing still at one of them, and Yamato said, oh, let's go. So he went back, grabbed the boy, and walked further, while the boy was looking at the anomaly. One of the door handles was in the middle of the door instead of where it usually is at the side. But the man didn't look at the anomaly. He just looked at the boy, grabbed the boy, and walked further. And then it became back at 0 because I think they just hit number 6 or something. They had 2 more to go. And he was all pissed and all and shit. And then they went for another, and suddenly Kotone came to life. You start to talk to him. Hey, don't you want to stay here? Blah blah blah. And so they went back, and there was suddenly an exit going up while they were on 0. So Yamato still Naru in his arm, towards the stairs, and Naru was pulling back from, I don't want to go. That's not exit. That's anomaly. But Yamato said, no, we're going. So Naru got loose. Yamato went up, and Naru stayed behind. And then Yamato turned probably into one of those former contestants, because probably Kotone was also one that lost. But then we got we continued with Naru's perspective. What happened, and he went and was looking at, he went further. He just lost Yamato. He went around the corner and was looking at something, and then we saw Kasuniri come around the corner, Kazunari, sorry. Kazunari come around the corner and Anomaly and walk back. So there we saw how they met, so it was nice how we got a slight backstory to all three of the characters, how they actually met. Well, how the boy came to be with Kazunari. But we're also going to leave that with the points, but just go watch the movie yourself. It was a very good movie. I really enjoyed this movie. It was really well made. And definitely deserves a high 4, low 5. It was a very good movie. A really very good movie. Maybe even 5 out of 5, but for now I give this a high 4, low 5. It's just a very good movie. Go watch the movie yourself. Leave likes, recommend good. Movie based on a game. Down below in the comment section, subscribe to their channel. Check out my second channel, Underdog Eats, where the food things every week from time to time. Also, virtual Underdog Reacts, where I do primarily music. Link down below in the description, and see you guys next time. Bye.